he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe.
What he is a f***ing dork who wanted to be powerful and influential. He realized that money won't stop him being a nerd because the girl he's hanging around with is still getting plowed by his f***ing blockchain dev.
He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform.
If this motherfucker was driving a nice fat Lambo and he had a big diamond watch and was living a life which a millionaire should live, I would have trusted him a bunch more.
I wanted to get rich not because I like money, but because I wanted to give that money to charity.
But when he sat there and said, I only drive a Corolla and I give all my money away and I just try and hoard it all to just help people.
Relatively understated life for a billionaire. He drives a Toyota Corolla to FTX's offices in the Bahamas. He lives with 10 roommates and a golden doodle named Gopher. Sometimes sleeps under a desk on a beanbag chair.
An alarm went off in my head because everybody I know who is like this 100% of the time in my human experience ends up being full of shit.
We have to be ready for the next pandemic.
Full of shit.
3 years to go from nothing to one of the dominant crypto exchanges in the world, with Larry David shilling for you and buying stadiums in Miami. Give me a break.
Who financed you? Because you clearly didn't have the money.
And the more money he gave away, and the more he engaged in the sort of marionette, child genius routine, the less incredulous people were. And the more people were celebrating him as the world's most generous, enlightened soul.
This thing is dirty and rotten to the core.
They may have counterfeited the coin. No, I'm just saying, you guys should have accepted the offer.
But we do agree, if we're right, we're going to make world history, aren't we? When we're right, what are you going to do? In 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 12 hours?
All we did is just push a button through an exchange.
FTX, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, has blown up, losing millions and millions in user funds and bringing a series of other crypto companies down with it in a contagion effect like crypto has never seen. Who is responsible? Let's go through it. First of all, 30-year-old wonderkind, now former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, he's on the run, cryptically still tweeting. Surely, he does bear some responsibility. He is not mentally challenged, like some people in the media are trying to make it seem.
Like he's a little, I don't know if he's on the spectrum or what, but they like that. They promote that, the way he dresses too, his little verbal and physical tics.
Is Sam Bankman-Fried to blame? Or former Sam Bankman-Fried girlfriend, Caroline. You know her as the CEO of Alameda, the trading arm of FTX, which stole user funds and traded against users. She's the other party to blame, seemingly. I'm sure you've seen this clip of Caroline bragging about using very little math, elementary school math, and bragging about practicing abysmal risk management.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math. We tend not to have things like stop losses. I think those aren't necessarily a great risk management tool. I'm trying to think of a good example of a trade where I've lost a ton of money. Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
These two are solely responsible to blame for the FTX fraud, collapse, and contagion. These two are solely responsible. Or so they would have you think. Subscribe to our channel. We've been posting videos like this for about a week now. We will continue to keep you updated like this. Daily crypto news, subscribe now. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the people who they don't want you to know about. The ones behind the scenes pulling the strings. Share this video with everybody you can while the truth is out there. I'm afraid they're going to make me take this video down, so watch this while you can. Who is really responsible for the fraud and the stolen money and everything that went on with FTX? Part of the reason why it's so hard to ascertain this information is because the mainstream media looks to be compromised. Did Sam Bankman-Fried send everyone's money to the New York Times for a fluff piece or something? What the F are they smoking over there? See, rather than reporting the actual news, the New York Times chose to write a puff piece on Sam Bankman-Fried, painting him as an altruistic who simply made a mistake. Bullshit. They even want to pin this on CZ Binance. They want to say CZ Binance was somehow responsible for the fraud going on at FTX. See, CZ was pivotal in uncovering the fraud happening at FTX and Alameda. CZ forced Sam's hand to reveal it. Other cryptocurrency leaders in the space, after the fact, people in the know even came forward after the fact saying CZ was trying to save Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. CZ knew what was going on with FTX and with Sam and was trying to save things. This is Wendy Wang from Huobi talking on Spaces. Listen to her. Leaders in the space retweeted this later, seemingly confirming what she says is true.
So as an exchange, Sam is a CEO. You are third party, right? You are not supposed to do anything to do with your users, with your clients, because all the users' activities, you have everything on your exchange. You have all the logs, all the analysts on that. But what Sam does is he did the counterparty of certain clients, of certain users. All of this, CZ knows very well. I knew it because I heard from one of the very good friends from CZ. So that's why I think that at the very beginning, CZ was trying very hard to protecting Bitcoin price, to protecting this whole winter.
So first, the New York Times gives Sam Bankman-Fried a full pass, and now it's CZ Binance fault? This is a joke. Mainstream press is running cover for Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, releasing puff pieces to protect the public image, some blaming Binance and CZ and others painting a picture of an accident. Even Reuters went so far as to say Sam Bankman-Fried did the financial system a favor. So the New York Times and other members of the mainstream media is running cover for what happened with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, running cover for these fraud, for these crimes. The question is, why? It's no secret, Sam Bankman-Fried is Joe Biden's second biggest donor, giving tens of millions to the Joe Biden campaign. It's no secret, Sam Bankman-Fried very close to the DNC and elites in general. On April 22nd, FTX official and SALT conference hosted the first ever crypto conference in the Bahamas. An off-record panel was held featuring former President Bill Clinton, former UK PM Tony Blair, and Sam Bankman-Fried. Other elites were in attendance. It is no secret that Sam Bankman-Fried had close ties to many high-level political figures, many of them in the DNC. In fact, Sam Bankman-Fried was committed to giving even more money. In this CNBC article from earlier this year, Sam Bankman-Fried says he could spend upwards of $1 billion on the 2024 election. It's looking more likely there was a serious money laundering operation going on, sending money from FTX to Democrats under the guise of altruism. This next part, a little bit of a stretch. I'm not saying this is the case. I'll leave it up to you to decide, but I'd be remiss if I didn't share this with you. As you know, Sam Bankman-Fried and a lot of people over at FTX and Alameda had close ties to MIT. Perhaps you know MIT's Media Lab was directly funded by Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates. Again, you decide for yourself, but WikiLeaks released an FBI doc outlining symbolism, and the B logo is eerily reminiscent of Alameda Research's logo. So let's get into it. Allegedly, who are the real ringleaders? Missing piece in the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried meltdown. Who is Michael Knives? Connected to Sam Bankman-Fried, the Clintons, Warren Buffett, Michael Lewis, and even Elon Musk. $300 million from Alameda, and no Wikipedia page. Surprisingly can't find anyone mentioning him on crypto Twitter, so let's unravel Knives' background. Knives' beginnings seem to start with the Clintons as a spokesperson, then to CAA, the largest Hollywood talent agency, managing extremely popular stars, Katy Perry, Warren Buffett, then to early-stage tech investing. Talented? Maybe. Nepotism? Unfortunately. Needless to say, Knives is more connected than any normal citizen could conceive. Even top-tier celebrities don't get this connected. And don't just believe me either. Believe his old boss and CAA president. And what amazes me most is the elusiveness of Knives. Now, Knives leads his K5 private equity firm while simultaneously serving as a director for Yahoo and Shutterfly. Pro is really leading the charge on multiple work-from-home jobs, I guess. Gotta respect it. But K5 is where things get interesting and tie back to our old friend Sam Bankman-Fried. Somehow, $300 million of customer funds managed to make its way to Knives' firm. This number may seem less significant after this week, but it would be in the top 25% of FTX's illiquid assets. Why so much? Good thing FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried never relied on public perception via celebrity status, or anyone who Knives has or is involved with. Never. Don't you just feel like a product looking at this picture? See, the connections don't just touch political or perception goals. They seamlessly extend to financial goals Sam Bankman-Fried obviously couldn't keep up with. Knives used his private equity firm to wedge into SpaceX, and Boring Company Investments reportedly tried the same thing with Sam Bankman-Fried and Twitter. Adding to this trail, news that Big Short author Michael Lewis was writing a book about Sam. How'd this even get surfaced? Email from none other than CAA agent. And if you need more evidence of Knives' deep political connections, take a look at this Guardian article bragging about the millions unreported donations bundling he's managed to get the Clintons. Do I even need to mention Sam Bankman-Fried's donation? Do you get it yet? So, with the massive influence and endorsement from the most important individuals in celebrity talent, politics, and finance, no mental gymnastics are required to see how Michael Knives fits perfectly into the FTX SBF saga. But let's continue, because Sam Bankman-Fried buys a third of Knives' firm, who coincidentally linked to the most powerful people in the world that he also can't raise a dollar from, and then FTX goes on to eviscerate $10 billion in customer funds off of leveraging their celebrity and political connections for money? The point of this is to illustrate Sam Bankman-Fried's obsession with power and how he exploited everyone from citizens to celebrities. Don't focus too much on Knives. Guy was legally taking money for his firm. Focus on the other individuals we've seen Sam capture by stealing citizens' wealth. Of course, one of the most interesting or shady players at FTX is Gary Wang.
His partner is a guy named Gary Wang, and no one can find shit on Gary Wang.
Gary is co-founder and CTO of FTX, architect of the FTT token, but is hardly ever seen with very little info about him online.
And he's on the board of advisors of Sequoia. And I shit you not. You look up Sequoia stuff, there's a picture of Gary Wang of his back facing a computer. There's no picture of Gary Wang.
He graduated from MIT, worked at Google, and was crowned the wealthiest person under 30.
So Gary Wang is the same CTO or the Chief Technology Officer of FTX?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Perhaps another person who might deserve some blame is the current girlfriend of Sam Bankman-Fried and actually the chief operating officer of FTX, Constance W. Prior to her work at FTX, Constance was a risk manager for Credit Suisse and worked on private banking AML. It's safe to say that Constance did a terrible job of managing risk at FTX official. It's worth noting that after Sam Bankman-Fried resigned from his position of CEO at FTX, guess who just stepped up as the new CEO? The former Enron chairman and bankruptcy pro, John J. Ray III. Guys, remember Enron, right? See, the real question is, who helped SBF create the back door for FTX? FTX legal and finance teams say Sam Bankman-Fried implemented a backdoor into the bookkeeping system that allowed Sam to alter records and move money undetected. The backdoor was used to send $10 billion from FTX official to Alameda Research without triggering red flags on the books. Wow. Head of compliance at FTX official Dan Friedberg ran an online poker gambling website that was one of the biggest scandals in history.
There's a chief regulatory officer of FTX, and his name is Dan Friedberg. And if you Google Dan Friedberg poker scandal, he was the general counsel of, I don't know if it was Ultimate Bets or one of those Me Too sites, where they basically cheated against players.
They built back doors into the software and viewing cards and using it to bet against the players. Exactly what FTX were doing to traders. So Chief Regulatory Officer Dan Friedberg was embroidered in the major scandal with Ultimate Bet Poker. His involvement can allegedly be verified because Friedberg was caught on tape taking his clients through the process of lying after the client admitted to robbing over $50 million from the players. I'll play you just 20 seconds of this.
So for us to come out and say the ideal, we've looked at this account, there's no cheating, it's going to be tough to sell. Now, on the other hand, I think if what we can do is to say, we've studied it. We know that sometimes it was used, sometimes it was not. These limited times are the times it was used. These people are being refunded.
Travis, do you know Travis, my guy? Travis was willing to say that he did all this. So he's willing to say that he did this.
Because the real evidence seems to be this right here. Again, subscribe to our channel, join our team. We post a video on crypto every day, keeping you informed. Join the Altcoin Daily team, like the video, and I'll leave you with this final clip. Apparently, allegedly, Dan Friedberg, FTX, and Alameda criminally counterfeiting crypto. Dan Friedberg talks about how FTX and Alameda criminally scammed the crypto world. All of today's video was just speculation, all alleged, not accusing anybody of anything. None of what I said in today's video, I know anything for sure. All of these people are probably innocent.
I don't know Liquid. They may have counterfeited the coin.
Every centralized exchange creates a synthetic, okay? For the purposes of
all we did is just push a button through an exchange, you know? We didn't intend to do that, certainly. We just, we had the new coin in our exchange account. We sent it to you using the exchange account.
Yeah.
And it's possible, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
It's because that's not on the blockchain.
Fair enough. But one thing we do agree, if we're right, we're going to make world history, aren't we? And this is going to get a lot of public attention as you now put it on the table. Let's get some public attention on this. And you explain where the f*** our coins are.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. But guess what? You're quite correct, Dan. The whole world's going to be looking at it. It'll get a lot of media attention.
I think that's just
yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just wait then.
But hopefully, who knows? Maybe they'll come back. Maybe the coin that they send is okay. I hope. You'll be able to, the coin that goes to the blockchain.
Dan, we don't make the accusation knowingly. I told you it's incontrovertible. It's incontrovertible. There's no ifs, there's no buts. Okay? And what you've just done is try to insult us. And what do you think that's going to achieve when you're wrong? When it's incontrovertible that you guys are wrong and you're going to add insult. Well, what did you think? No, but what did you think's going to happen? What did you?
It wouldn't be me up there. I wouldn't know.
No, but what did you think?
I'm in no position, just to comment.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about you'd work it out before you started insulting? What did you think was going to happen if you started insulting?
No, I'm just saying, you guys should have accepted the offer.
Okay, by you insulting me, by you insulting me and us right now, what did you think? What did you think you were going to achieve?
I was hoping that possibly to save Hussein from imprisonment.
Hussein from imprisonment because you counterfeited coin.
No, because I'm a kind man, Hussein. Okay? And I'm just saying that...
Dan, listen, let's just end this here. You're obviously... I've got no idea what to say in terms of words. You're obviously wasting our time. Let's just finish this here.
Is that Hussein?
That's Hussein. All right, I've got no doubt. Yeah, let's just not waste each other's time. You obviously just want to hear waste our time. I think let's just end this conversation where we left it.
Okay, so where do we leave it?
Well, let me...
Okay, when we're right, what are you going to do? In 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 12 hours,